Did I kill my husband? That's what Patricia Moran asked me, 11 days after Richard's funeral, calling from the living room where they'd spent 41 years together, calling from the couch where he used to sit, calling me, his doctor, the man who was supposed to keep him alive. Did I kill my husband? I couldn't answer her. I couldn't say no. Because the truth is, she didn't kill Richard, but she could have saved him. She had 4 chances. 4 separate opportunities across 7 days to drag him to the emergency room and save his life, and she didn't take any of them. Not because she didn't love him, not because she wasn't paying attention, but because she didn't know. Nobody told her. Nobody told Richard. Nobody told me to ask. 4 warning signs, 4 red flags screaming that Richard's heart was about to stop, 4 chances to intervene, and all 4 of them looked like nothing. Felt like nothing, seemed so small, so ordinary, so easily explained away that everyone, including me, missed them completely. Richard is dead because of what I'm about to tell you, and you might be next, unless you watch this entire video, unless you learn what Patricia learned too late, unless you make me a promise right now that you will never ignore these 4 warning signs again. Can you make me that promise? Say it out loud, right now. Say, I promise. I'm serious. I need you to say it, because Richard's wife is watching this video. Patricia is going to see these comments, and she needs to know that her husband didn't die for nothing, that his story is saving lives, that you are going to be one of the people who survives because of what she went through. Say it. I promise. Good. Now let me tell you what killed him. The first warning sign started 8 days before Richard died, and I need you to pay very close attention to how I describe this, because it's going to sound like nothing. It's going to sound like something that happens to everyone. It's going to sound so ordinary that you'll be tempted to think, that can't possibly be a heart attack warning sign. That's exactly why people die. The first warning sign is fatigue that makes no sense. Not tired, not sleepy, not I had a long day exhaustion. This is different. This is bone-deep heaviness that has no explanation. This is waking up after 8 hours of sleep and feeling like you haven't slept in 3 days. This is sitting in a chair doing absolutely nothing and suddenly feeling like you need to lie down or you might collapse. This is your body feeling like it's filled with wet sand, like gravity tripled overnight, like something is draining you from the inside. Patricia saw it first on a Monday morning, 8 days before his heart stopped. Richard came back from his morning walk, the same 2-mile walk he'd done every single day for 3 years, and instead of making coffee like he always did, he went straight to the couch, didn't take off his shoes, didn't even sit down properly, just sort of collapsed into the cushions, like his strings had been cut. Patricia asked if he was okay. Just tired, he said. She asked if he slept badly. No, slept fine. She asked if something was wrong. No, nothing's wrong. Just feel wiped out, like I ran a marathon instead of walked around the block. I don't know, it's weird. It was weird, but it was also easy to explain. Maybe he was fighting off a cold. Maybe he didn't sleep as well as he thought. Maybe he was just having an off day. Everyone has off days. Tuesday, same thing. Came back from his walk early, couldn't finish the whole route, sat down and didn't get up for 3 hours. Wednesday, didn't go for his walk at all. First time in 3 years. Said he just didn't have the energy. Said his legs felt like concrete. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, same thing. Tired, heavy, drained. No fever, no cough, no obvious illness. Just this crushing, inexplicable exhaustion that nothing could fix. Patricia asked him every single day if he wanted to see a doctor. Richard said no every single time. It's nothing, I'm fine, just tired, stop worrying. And here's what was actually happening inside his chest while he said those words. Richard's coronary artery, the one that feeds blood to the main pumping chamber of his heart, had been narrowing for years. Plaque buildup. Slow, silent, invisible. He had no idea. I had no idea. There were no symptoms, no warning signs, just gradual, steady blockage that never announced itself. But sometime around that Monday, that first Monday when he came home exhausted, something changed. A piece of that plaque became unstable. It started to crack. And his artery, which had been 70% blocked for maybe a decade, suddenly became 80% blocked, then 85, then 90. His heart was starving. See, your heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs oxygen to work. That oxygen comes from blood flowing through your coronary arteries.
When those arteries narrow, when blood flow decreases, your heart doesn't get the oxygen it needs, and it can't pump as efficiently. It has to work harder to move the same amount of blood. It strains, it struggles, it fights. And your body feels that struggle as fatigue. Not chest pain, not shortness of breath, not anything dramatic or obvious. Just tiredness, heaviness, exhaustion. Your body's way of saying, something is very wrong, but I don't know how to tell you exactly what it is. This is called cardiac fatigue, and studies show that 70% of people who have heart attacks experienced it in the days or weeks beforehand. 70%. That's not a small number. That's the majority. And almost none of them recognized it for what it was, because it doesn't feel like a heart problem. It feels like life. It feels like stress. It feels like getting older. It feels like nothing. Until you're dead. So here's the rule, and I need everyone watching this to burn this into your memory. If you are over 60 years old and you experience fatigue that has no explanation, fatigue that doesn't match what you've been doing, fatigue that rest and sleep don't fix, fatigue that lasts more than 2 or 3 days, that is not normal aging. That is not just being tired. That is a potential cardiac emergency, and you need to take it seriously. If you've experienced this kind of fatigue in the past month, put a 1 in the comments right now. Just the number 1. I want to see how many of you are in the danger zone, and I want you to acknowledge it, because acknowledging it is the first step to doing something about it. Now, second warning sign, and before I tell you this one, I need to say something. This is the warning sign that makes me angriest, because this is the one that doctors should catch. This is the one that medical schools should emphasize. This is the one that should be on billboards and public service announcements and printed on every blood pressure medication bottle in America. But it's not, because we've been teaching people the wrong thing for 50 years. When you think about heart attack symptoms, what do you think of? Chest pain, right? That's what everyone thinks. Chest pain, pressure, tightness, the elephant sitting on your chest. That's what the movies show. That's what the posters in your doctor's office show. That's what we've all been trained to look for.
And yes, chest pain is a symptom of a heart attack. But here's what nobody tells you. In the days before a heart attack, the pain often isn't in your chest at all. The second warning sign is pain in places that don't make sense. Your jaw, your neck, your shoulder, your arm, your upper back, your stomach. Places that have nothing to do with your heart. Places that make you think you slept wrong or pulled a muscle or ate something bad. Places that send you to the chiropractor instead of the cardiologist. Places that kill you because you never connected them to your heart. Richard started rubbing his left shoulder on Wednesday, 5 days before he died. Patricia noticed because he kept doing it, rolling it, stretching it, massaging it with his other hand. She asked what was wrong. "Must have slept on it funny," he said. "Little sore, nothing serious." Thursday, the shoulder was still bothering him. He took some ibuprofen, kept rubbing it. Friday, the shoulder was better, but his jaw hurt. Left side, near his ear. He said he was probably grinding his teeth at night. Said he'd had that problem years ago. Said it was probably stress. Saturday, the jaw was better, but his neck was stiff. Really stiff, uncomfortable. He blamed the pillow, said they needed a new one. Sunday, the neck was better, but the shoulder was back. He laughed about it, said he was falling apart, said getting old was hell, said he'd see a chiropractor after the weekend. 4 days, 4 different locations, 4 easy explanations, and every single one of them was his heart screaming for help. Here's why this happens, and once you understand this, you'll never think about these pains the same way again. Your heart doesn't have the same kind of nerves your skin has. Your skin can tell you exactly where pain is coming from. Touch a hot stove and you know precisely which finger got burned. But your internal organs are different. They share nerve pathways with other parts of your body. Your heart shares nerves with your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your upper back. When your heart is in distress, when it's not getting enough oxygen, when the muscle is starting to die, it sends pain signals through these shared nerves. And your brain, which isn't used to getting pain signals from your heart, gets confused. It interprets the pain as coming from somewhere more familiar, your shoulder, your jaw, your neck, somewhere that commonly hurts for normal reasons. This is called referred pain, and it is one of the deadliest phenomena in medicine, because people feel it and they assume it's musculoskeletal. They assume they slept wrong. They assume they need a massage or a chiropractor or a new pillow. They never ever consider that the pain might be coming from their dying heart. Richard had referred cardiac pain for 5 straight days,
And he blamed it on pillows and stress and sleeping positions. And nobody, including me, ever suggested he get his heart checked. So here's the rule. If you are over 60 and you have unexplained pain in your jaw, your neck, your shoulder, your arm, your upper back, or your upper stomach that lasts more than a day or two, especially if it comes and goes, especially if it moves around, especially if it doesn't respond to normal treatments like ibuprofen or stretching, you need to consider the possibility that it's your heart. Tell your doctor, get it checked, because assuming it's nothing is exactly what Richard did for 5 days until he was dead. If you've had weird, unexplained pain in any of these places in the past few weeks, put a 2 in the comments. I need to know how widespread this is, and you need to acknowledge that this might be more serious than you thought. Okay, third warning sign, and I'm going to tell you right now, warning sign number 4 is the one that haunts me. Number 4 is the one I think about at night. Number 4 is the one that if Patricia had recognized it, Richard would almost certainly still be alive. So stay with me through number 3, because what comes after is the most important thing I'll say in this entire video. The third warning sign is shortness of breath doing things you've always done easily. Not dramatic gasping, not clutching your throat, not obvious call an ambulance difficulty breathing, just being a little more winded than you should be, taking a little longer to catch your breath, noticing that something that used to be effortless now requires a moment of recovery. This one started 2 full weeks before Richard died, 14 days of warning, the longest lead time of any of the signs, and the most subtle, the easiest to explain away, the most invisible. Patricia first noticed it when they walked to the mailbox together, 100 feet from the front door. They'd made that walk thousands of times. Richard always got there first, always grabbed the mail before she caught up. This time she got there first. She didn't even realize it at first, just reached for the mail, started flipping through it, and then turned around to see Richard still 20 feet behind her, walking slowly, his hand resting on his chest, not clutching it, just resting there. She asked if he was okay. Fine, he said, just a little winded, walked too fast. He hadn't walked fast. He'd walked his normal speed, but she didn't push. A few days later, they climbed the stairs, 14 stairs to their bedroom. They climbed those stairs a dozen times a day for 31 years. This time, Richard stopped at the top, held the railing, took 3 deep breaths before continuing.
Patricia asked if he was okay. Fine, just out of shape. Need to get back to my walks. He'd been walking every day, but she didn't push. That Sunday at church, they were singing a hymn. Second verse, Richard stopped singing, just stood there, mouth closed, breathing slowly, while everyone else continued. After the song, Patricia asked if he was okay. Fine, couldn't catch my breath. Church is stuffy, should open a window. 3 incidents, 3 warnings, 3 chances for Patricia to say, something is wrong, we're going to the emergency room. She didn't, because each time there was a perfectly reasonable explanation. Walked too fast, out of shape, stuffy church. Everything had a reason. Everything made sense. Everything was a lie. Here's what was happening. Richard's heart wasn't pumping efficiently. The narrowing arteries weren't delivering enough blood. His muscles, including his breathing muscles, weren't getting adequate oxygen. Activities that used to be easy became harder. His body couldn't perform the way it always had. But because the decline was gradual, because there was always an explanation, because it never felt like an emergency, nobody recognized it. Exertional dyspnea, that's the medical term, and in cardiology, it's a massive red flag. If a patient tells me they're getting more winded than usual doing activities they've always been able to do, my first thought isn't their lungs, it's their heart. But patients don't think that way. Patients think shortness of breath means asthma, means allergies, means being out of shape. They never connect it to their heart, and so they dismiss it, and then they die. So here's the rule. If stairs that never bothered you now make you stop to catch your breath at the top, if distances you used to walk easily now leave you winded, if you can't sing or talk or laugh the way you used to without running out of air, that is not normal aging. That is not being out of shape. That is your heart screaming for attention. Put a 3 in the comments if you've experienced this. Be honest, because honesty might save your life. Now, warning sign number 4. I need to pause here. I need to take a breath, because this one is hard for me. This is the one that Patricia asked me about specifically during that phone call. This is the one she almost didn't mention because she thought it was too strange to be a real symptom. This is the one that, if she'd recognized it, if she'd acted on it, her husband would almost certainly still be alive. And it sounds insane.
It sounds psychological. It sounds like something that couldn't possibly be a medical warning sign. But it is, and it might be the most important one of all. The fourth warning sign is a feeling that something is terribly wrong, even though you can't explain what. A sense of doom, dread, impending disaster, anxiety that has no source, restlessness that has no cause, a certainty deep in your gut that something bad is about to happen. Patricia told me about Richard's last Monday, the day before he died. She said something was different about him that day. He wasn't just tired. He wasn't just sore. He wasn't just winded. He was unsettled, agitated, on edge in a way she'd never seen before. He couldn't sit still, kept getting up and walking to the window, kept starting to say something and then stopping, couldn't focus on the television, couldn't read his book, kept running his hands through his hair, kept checking his watch even though he had nowhere to be. Around 4 p.m, he said something to Patricia that she has replayed in her mind every single day since. He said, "Pat, I feel strange." She asked what he meant. He said, "I don't know. I can't explain it. Something just feels wrong. Inside. Like something bad is going to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I feel this way. Something's wrong. Something's off. I feel like I need to do something, but I don't know what."
Patricia looked at her husband, 67 years old, sitting in his chair, visibly anxious, visibly disturbed, telling her that something was wrong and he didn't know what. And she said, "You're probably just tired. You've had a rough week. Get some sleep. You'll feel better in the morning." He went to bed at 8:30 that night. By 3:47 a.m., he was dead. And Patricia has spent every single day since asking herself, what if I hadn't said that? What if I'd said, "You know what, Richard? You've been tired for a week. You've had strange pains. You've been short of breath. And now you're telling me something feels wrong and you don't know what?" That's 4 things, 4 warning signs. We're going to the emergency room right now. I don't care if you think it's nothing. We're going. What if she'd said that? He'd be alive right now, drinking coffee with her, watching their grandchildren grow up, complaining about the weather, and forgetting where he put his glasses, and all the ordinary, beautiful, mundane moments of being alive. But she didn't say that. She said he was tired. She said he'd feel better in the morning. And now he's gone. Here's why that feeling happens. And this is important because it proves that Richard wasn't being irrational. He wasn't being anxious. He wasn't overreacting. His body was telling him the absolute truth. When your heart is in severe distress, when it's critically deprived of oxygen, when the muscle is starting to die, your body releases a massive flood of stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine. These hormones are supposed to prepare you for danger. They're supposed to help you fight or run. They activate every emergency system in your body. But there's nothing to fight. There's nothing to run from. The danger is internal. It's invisible. You can't see it or touch it or identify it. All you have is this overwhelming, inexplicable sense that something is catastrophically wrong, that danger is near, that death is coming, that you need to act, need to do something, need to save yourself, but you don't know how because you don't know what's happening. This feeling has a name, angor animi, Latin for anguish of the soul. Doctors have documented it for over 100 years. Patients consistently describe it as a feeling of impending doom, a certainty that they're about to die, a sense that something terrible is happening, even though they can't explain what. And it is not psychological. It is not anxiety. It is not stress. It is your body's deepest alarm system telling you that your life is in immediate danger. It is the most urgent warning your nervous system is capable of generating. And when people feel it, what do? They tell themselves they're being silly. They tell themselves it's anxiety. They tell themselves they're overreacting. They go to bed and hope it passes. And sometimes it passes. And sometimes they wake up and feel fine and forget all about it. And sometimes they never wake up at all.
So here's the rule, and I need you to take this as seriously as anything I've ever said. If you are over 60 years old and you feel a sudden, unexplained sense that something is wrong, if you feel dread, doom, impending danger, if you feel anxious and agitated and can't explain why, if something deep inside you is screaming that you need to act, do not ignore it. Tell someone. Go to the emergency room. Call 911. Do something, anything. Because that feeling might be anxiety, it might be stress, it might be nothing. But it might also be your heart dying. It might be the last warning you ever receive. It might be the difference between waking up tomorrow and not waking up at all. Richard felt that feeling at 4 p.m. on a Monday. He was dead by 4 a.m. on Tuesday. 12 hours. That's how fast it can happen. And every minute of those 12 hours was a chance to save him, a chance that nobody took. If you've ever felt this kind of unexplained dread, if you've ever had that sense of doom for no reason, put a 4 in the comments. And then ask yourself, did you take it seriously? Or did you brush it off like Richard did? Let me bring this together. 4 warning signs that appear in the days or weeks before a heart attack. 4 red flags that most people miss. 4 chances to save your own life that you might not even recognize. Number 1, unexplained fatigue. Tiredness that doesn't match your activity. Exhaustion that rest doesn't fix. Feeling like your body is made of lead. Number 2, pain in your jaw, neck, shoulder, arm, back, or stomach. Pain that comes and goes. Pain that moves around. Pain that doesn't respond to normal treatments. Number 3, shortness of breath doing things you used to do easily. Getting winded on stairs. Needing to catch your breath after short walks. Not being able to sing or talk without running out of air. Number 4, a feeling that something is terribly wrong. Doom, dread, anxiety that has no source. A certainty that danger is coming even though you can't explain it. Richard had all 4, over 7 days, and nobody, including me, connected the dots. So what do you do?
First, don't dismiss these symptoms. Don't explain them away. Don't convince yourself it's nothing. The whole point of this video is that they feel like nothing. That's why they're deadly. So if you're watching this thinking, well, I've been tired, but it's probably just stress, I need you to reconsider. I need you to take it seriously. Second, tell someone. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, tell your spouse, tell your kids, tell a friend. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't minimize it, because Richard minimized it. He told Patricia he was fine, and she believed him, and now she has to live with that. Third, see your doctor, and don't let them brush you off. When you go in, say these exact words. Doctor, I'm concerned about my heart. I've been having symptoms that can be warning signs of a cardiac event. I would feel better if we ran some tests to rule that out. Those words change everything. Those words make doctors take you seriously. Those words save lives. And fourth, know when to call 911. If these symptoms are accompanied by chest pain or pressure, if they suddenly get worse, if you feel like you might pass out, if you can barely breathe, call immediately. Don't wait. Don't drive yourself. Call 911 and tell them you think you're having a heart attack. I want to end with Patricia's words, the words she asked me to share, the message she wanted me to deliver to everyone watching. She said, I watched my husband die because I didn't push hard enough, because I believed him when he said he was fine, because I didn't want to overreact, because I thought we had more time. She paused. We didn't have more time. We had 12 hours, and I spent those 12 hours telling him to get some rest, telling him he'd feel better tomorrow, telling him it was probably nothing. She was crying now. So please, if your husband tells you something feels wrong, don't tell him he's fine. If your wife is tired and short of breath and anxious for no reason, don't tell her to sleep it off. If your parent seems off, seems worried, seems like something's not right, push. Make them go to the doctor. Make them go to the ER. Go with them. Don't let them brush it off. Don't let them tell you they're fine.
Her voice broke. Because they might not be fine, and you might not get another chance. That's Patricia's message. That's what Richard's death taught her. That's what I need you to carry with you forever. If you made it to the end of this video, go to the comments right now and type 2 words. I'll push. This is a promise, a commitment, a vow. If someone you love says they're fine, but you can see they're not, you're going to push. You're going to insist. You're going to be the person who makes them get checked. You're going to be the reason they're still alive next year. Type it now. I'll push. And if you haven't watched the first video in this series, the one about the 5 nighttime habits that killed Richard, click here immediately, because those 5 habits are just as deadly as these warning signs, and they're even easier to fix. Things you can change tonight that might save your life. Watch it. Share both videos with everyone you love over 60, because they need to know what you know now. Before they become another Richard. Before you become another Patricia. Before it's too late. Sleep safe. Watch your heart. Push the people you love to take care of themselves. I'll see you in the next one.